Welcome to the Beauty and Business Breakdown with Becca Healey. I'm Becca. I'm an entrepreneur, permanent makeup artist, and owner of Forever Brows and Beauty Studio. My studio is located in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my channel is where I come to talk to other beauty professionals, entrepreneurs, and people who inspire me. We're going to be covering different topics every episode and leaving you with inspiration, insight, and business tips. Please like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Forever Brows and Beauty Studio. Now let's jump right in.
Let's see, I just got Mandy in the chat. Hi.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Mandy?
Doing all right. Just finished the day here at the studio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're located in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, we're so close.
I know. We have to get together sometime.
I agree. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's interesting to be a guest because I've been hosting so many in the last few months. So thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so happy to have you. So tell us, first of all, who you are and what you do.
I am Fancy Mandy, and I am owner and creator of Pretty and Ink in Columbus, Ohio. I have been working in the skin for 13 years next month, and yeah, it's been a long journey. So
yeah, 13 years. That's amazing.
yeah.
So are you a solo entrepreneur or do you have a team?
I was solo for a lot of this journey, but I have Sydney that's here full time. She was my apprentice back in 2019, and then going into 2020, we were getting a lot of traction, and then, well, we don't know about 2020. And then when we came back, we've been busy continuously. So she's here, and then I also have an esthetician, Judy, that is freaking awesome, and she's highly motivated and professional. So we're tiny but mighty.
That's amazing. I love it. So tell us, just to help our audience get to know you a little better, what is a favorite quote that you live by or have been living by lately?
Oh gosh. I have it written down. It's on my calendar. Hold on. It is, I see it every other month. So like I have two post-its that I interchange on my calendar and I just like put it to the other one. Be relentlessly resourceful. That's how you win.
Nice. I've never heard that before. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. And what kind of music have you been listening to lately?
Oh gosh, we have the gamut here. Today there is a it's really strange. I think the playlist changed up a little bit. But specifically for today on Spotify, there's a playlist called Brain Food, and it's supposed to be curated for your brain and activity and just sort of like being productive. So sometimes I like to put that on as of late. There's also like another frequency. It's like 432 hertz that helps like you keep awake and really good moods and that kind of stuff. So I like to play stuff like that. But we've been playing Dollistics Spotify playlist. If you've gotten a hold of her playlist,
No.
yeah, it's a really great playlist. There's some great stuff on there. Lo-fi beats we play. It sometimes depends if I'm here alone and what client I have, because I mean I could go the gamut all the way into like progressive like black metal music, and it just, like I said, it's the gamut.
That's so cool. I love it. I love variety. I definitely do the same thing in my studio. Like some days we listen to like pop, and then some days it's like spa radio. And then some days it might be rock occasionally, depending on my client.
Yeah, I was just talking to a client today. Have you ever played classical?
I have, yes.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I feel like I'm creating these like amazing brows. Like, it's so great.
Yeah, it's definitely It definitely goes along with the music, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive into our main topic here. So what is our number one asset as PMU artists and why?
Oh, it's our hands. Our hands are our number one asset. What are you going to do if you ain't got none?
Yes.
Yeah, so I started this journey talking about hands. I mean, it's been years, but I've been mostly more loud on Instagram just pretty much since 2021. So I started talking about our number one asset because I developed a grip that goes onto the slim PMU machines that is in progress. So I needed to bring awareness of like why I created this. And so it's my thing, I guess. It's maybe with the hands, I don't know. But it's, I say I apologize. The grip, like I said, is in production, and I had wanted to create this because it was something that I needed, you know, and then moving forward and finding a designer and so on and so forth to work with, you know, I have been able to curb the effects that I was feeling. I started to feel like tingling and a little bit of awareness into my hands because I've been doing machine work since I started my career. And when I switched to the very narrow pen, like stylus machine, here I have the 3D printed. So they're really, really thick.
Yeah.
So most of us know in our industry, like how tight these are, and you hold them really, really tight and close. If you're doing isolated hair strokes, that's the grip that you have. Knowing what I used to use and then moving to this machine, my hand did a freak out. Like the machine I was using before this was a wider grip. And then I had to like move and get used to the smaller grip. And I had spent so much money on this machine that I just had to make it work. So a little bit of suffering and a little bit of like ingenuity and just trying to like be aware of stretching and be aware of, you know, placement and rest, you know, in between. My mother had actually been going through carpal tunnel syndrome surgery about the same time I started to have this awareness. So if that wasn't a huge wake-up call for me, it was like, there's got to be something. I know how many hours I spend doing eyebrows, specifically with machine and a hair stroke. This is a thing, you know, and microblading, when I came up with this idea, was just like, it was taken off. So I was like kind of on the fence if, you know, this is a good thing or idea. At the time, I think it would have fallen on deaf ears, but now that everybody's sort of switching to also including machine work, not only with powder, but doing like nano hair strokes and machine hair strokes in general, it seems like the perfect time to start bringing even more awareness, because I don't know if I would have spent thousands of dollars doing, you know, buying this if I had known. I would have just worked with what I had.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time, it was 2016 when I bought this. There wasn't a lot on the market that was, you know, related to PMU that had a larger grip. Like some of the machines are starting to be built now, a little bit of a larger grip. So that was extremely long-winded, but that was like the gamut of the journey of talking about my hands and everyone else's hands and bringing awareness. Once I started doing these lives, I started to realize that I'm not alone and this is a thing. We did so many different lives you can check out on my IG TV. There are Shea Seed, she uses crystals and she uses oils. You know, I had Carla Ricciardone and she's talking about, you know, taking care of your whole entire body because your whole entire body is connected to your hands, you know, like the polar opposite between like your hands and your feet. Make sure you take care of your feet as well. And it's just this whole balancing act. And I had 2 or 3 other women on talking about different massages and different methods that they do. And I just found it so interesting that we all have this in mind. You know, it is important to be aware of. When you're in your 20s, you don't think of it. You're like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna I'm gonna pick this up with my whole back, you know, instead of bending with my knees type of idea. When you get into your 30s, you're like, I'm starting to feel a little something. And now I'm gonna be 40 soon. So, and some of us that have been in the industry a little while are starting to feel that we're getting up into, you know, the years. And when you have wear and tear on something, you know, it's important to maintain it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So, I actually use a machine very similar to yours. I just want to show you real quick.
Yeah.
So I don't know if your grips would fit on this or not, but this is mine.
Oh, what is it?
It's a dermis point.
Ah.
So it's a little bit slim too. Like
it is slim too, and you have to hold it pretty low, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel occasionally I feel some like tension in my hands a little bit, like along my thumb, and I do notice that for sure.
Yeah. Do you are you aware, or do you make it an intention after your session to like kind of open your hand back up, since it's been like this, to do, I mean, like different stretches and that kind of stuff?
No.
So I did a live with this woman, Erica, and she was showing me some really cool stretches. So if you're like standing with your arm all the way down like this, and then you like pull up on your thumb. So you can't see because of the live, but you like pull up with your thumb, and then you can also do it with like the back of your hand here. So if you pull up on your pinky this way, and then just push down with your wrist, so it's kind of like that, it can like help a little bit, like open up. So I've learned a lot just doing these lives.
That's so cool.
Like warming up before you even start on a client. She's like, just shake out all the energy, like, you know, make it really, really loose. So before and after, you know, everybody says, you know, warm up as well as like stretching after and releasing that energy, because we touch people and that is energy and it is transferable. So
yeah, so that brings me to my next question, which was like, how do we protect our hands? So you kind of touched on a little bit with the stretching.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you've learned along the way?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I would say just, yes, awareness. I mean, stretching is huge. I would say you could do massage, you know, what if you have a massage therapist that you could see, they can pinpoint some areas and really work in the median and all of that. I would also say being aware of doing the same thing for long periods of time without some sort of a break or some sort of a stretch. And if it is possible to you and available, to create comfort for your grip, you know, your hand grip. It's like just create that comfort so that you can get longevity out of your hands. I mean, we're going to be doing this for years, you know, so we want to protect our hands.
Yeah. So what would be at stake for somebody if they just decide to not listen to your advice and just go willy-nilly? I mean, what's at stake for somebody?
Job stopper. I mean, it could end up in minor injury. It could end up in major injury. It could end up in expensive surgery. It could end up, needing to change careers. Sometimes, you know, I've heard other, you know, artists and stuff where they're not able to hold their machine anymore, or, you know, even if it's a nail tech, they use a Dremel and they're using, you know, in small little areas, it's the same type of repetitive motion. So, it's scary to think about, but it is real. And, you know, no one was really talking about it whenever I had started, or even into like me getting into, I think it was, like 7 or 8 years I was working in the skin and got that skinny machine. So like no one in that span of time was like, hey, just to let you know, you're spending a lot of money and your hand's going to get injured if you don't do this or think of this or look at this. So that's why I developed what I developed, because I felt like no one was really paying attention to that. You know, it's a big, huge company in our industry, and I feel like it's a huge oversight. You know, I feel like it's a huge oversight with the longevity of like what you want your artist to continue using your tool, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's taken off. It's like permanent makeup itself has taken off so much more in such a short period of time. We have so many new people coming into the industry. I mean, I'm only 3 years in, and I feel seniored in some situations where, you know, there's people who are only a few months in, and I think having these conversations now is, like you said, this wasn't happening 6-7 years ago.
Not even like 3 or 4, to be honest. I mean, a lot of these conversations now with IGTV and also with Clubhouse. I don't know if you're on Clubhouse, but I love Clubhouse. And there's such an amazing community, and there is, you know, now a shift of collaboration as opposed to competition, you know, and I think that that's been huge for our industry. Too often in other industries, I think that there's a lot of, you know, cattiness and, you know, just competition, you know. So now it's all these conversations are being had and we're all helping each other, and it's beautiful because we're doing this to somebody's face, you know, above and beyond everything. Like we want you to do a good job on somebody's face so that you make our industry look good. Not you, but you know what I mean? Like we want the information to get out there to do it as best as possible. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm so happy that we have people like you in the industry to share your experiences and develop like new techniques and new tools to help people. Like that's awesome that you have the grip, and I need to look more into that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still in progress. I have been trying to do what they call as like grassroots marketing, where it's like talk about why you made this and talk about all of that. So I'm in that stage. I have been in contact with the manufacturer, and hopefully samples will be like coming right around the corner, but it is, you know, a very long process in general, and I don't know that I knew that it was going to take this long, but there's a lot of hesitation on my part too, that, you know, of things happening. I was going to kind of start where I'm at now last year this time, you know, and so it's kind of like everything's got pushed back a year, so it just seems even crazier and longer, and you got to wait for so many other people to do what they do, and you're just waiting on them to kind of get back to you. The engineer I'm working for, I mean, it's taken him like 2 months to make a modification because he's so swamped, but I've been working with him for like since I started this in 2018, so I'm not gonna just like, I can't just like pivot away from him per se. Anyway, yes.
So
You'll be
cool.
hearing a lot about it, especially whenever samples and pre-sale and stuff happen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for you. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, so one of my questions, you kind of touched on it already, but just to circle back around, so what has your experience been with protecting your hands? Like, what do you specifically do, and what was the situation that led you to change?
Oh yeah, I definitely just gave it all to you in that one conversation. Yeah, so like I said, I started with one machine and switched to another machine. I was using a grip that was like 1 to 1.5 inch diameter, but it was a tube with a needle. So it was a tube with a needle bar that goes into it, not a cartridge, and then it fit into the machine. So it was a little closer to a more traditional, maybe coil machine style. And those grips were disposable. And I just felt like I wasn't official until I had this machine that was like deemed, you know, cosmetic tattooing and PMU and all this. And I felt great once I bought it. It took me years to like get to a point where I could spend those thousands of dollars. I mean, thousands of dollars to get this machine and the needles. Like, and then not to mention, I felt like I had to keep using it, even though I like had to make these adjustments. You know, and then a box of needles is like $120 to $125 for just a cartridge, you know, it is insane. But, so once I switched to that, from that machine to that machine, is when the awareness happened. And I mean, it was quick. It was within a week. I was busy full time working on clients, and it was really quick. I had gone to an actual, tattoo supply company that also is pretty innovative, and they make grips for traditional tattoo machines. And I sent them a video. I'd ordered their sample box, and I sent them a video with that style machine, and it was just spinning. It wasn't attaching. So like a lot had to be kind of cut out of it for it to even like work. And you know, other tattooers were like, wrap your machine with paper towels and grip tape just to like get it wider for you to use. But then it just ended up being sort of a hazard because it was slippery.
Yeah,
it's a hazard. So I just ended up dealing with it. And then, you know, it just hasn't left my mind. Like it hasn't left my mind that this needs to be a thing, because the style of machines are great. They're light. They're, you know, popular to use. Like I said, they're light too. And I just feel like if there's the, you know, option with the grip, it can just create more comfort where you don't have to think about it. And it's part of the setup, you know, it's just kind of like, you put it in, it's good. Your whole entire machine and cord and everything, if you are wired, is protected. So there's just like so many different things, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. But yeah, I touched on it. My hand started to feel a little bit of awareness, and that's so scary. And then you're also seeing it firsthand with your mother. Like she's starting to go through, you know, the surgery herself, and I got to see the scar, and you know, I'm like, oh gosh, you know, she just got hers from years of pen writing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she's a service writer, and she's been a service writer pretty much all her life. And she just writes, and she just continues to write. And even after, you know, she's healed from her surgery and stuff, I'm like, what are you wrapping your pen with? You know, like,
yeah.
Can you get a computer yet? Like, so yeah. I think I got a little long-winded, but I think I was in there with your question. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Started. Okay.
No, I love the backstory and just kind of getting into the details of all of that. So that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides, like, we talked about the negative things about why, if people don't pay attention to their hands and start taking care of them, what the negative results would be. But what are the positive benefits that come out of protecting your hands?
Well, you get to have pain-free, you know, security, knowing that you're going to be able to use them for years to come. You know, I mean, nobody wants to, like, oh, I have to get surgery on my hand. That's going to be, you know, not a very fun trip. And if you are still working on clients, you obviously are going to be down for the count. So affect your financial, you know, your financials, your physical. So protecting all of that protects your physical and protects your financial. Yeah, I mean, gosh, just, you know, who doesn't want to like have something that's a little bit better for them if there's an option, you know? I feel like once you know, but sometimes you just don't know until you don't know, or until you know. Did I say that backwards? Anyway, you don't want to have an injury and then go, oh my gosh, I should have done that, you know?
Yeah, we want to be proactive instead of
Yeah.
reactive.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to start. I'm going to take your advice and start stretching beforehand, and then like taking a break in between, maybe, like, especially with like lips, because they do take a little bit longer than some of the other services that I offer.
Yeah.
And it's just like that constant shading motion for, you know, an hour and a half or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really take breaks. I usually just power through the appointment. But
yeah.
Yeah, I think I need to start doing that.
Yeah, just small amounts of time will help. If you have downtime, having coffee or, relaxing at night or whatever, take a look at the IGTVs, and the women that I've had on, they've had fantastic suggestions before and after, and, just different stretches that you can even do, like pulling individual fingers back. Yeah, it's something to be aware of, and you're 3 years in now, so you've got some wear and tear on your hands just a little bit. And, we're only getting older, and we're only going to be working more. So, it's a better time to start.
Yeah, I think, like you said, when you're in your 20s, things don't really matter. But I'm in my early 30s now, and it's like I'm starting to be more aware of my body and the wear and tear on it, and this has been very helpful. So I appreciate all your support.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. If you need any other suggestions or anything, I'm digging as well. I'm on this journey too. So I'm really excited to talk about it with you, as I think it's not a very popular conversation. It's not a very popular topic. They're like, oh, I'm going live to talk about hands, and carpal tunnel and avoiding that syndrome. And, no one's really doing that. So it's a little bit of off the beaten path, but, here we are.
Yeah, it's such an important topic. I think we need to have more conversations. So I'm going to go back and watch all of your videos on your IGTV.
Yeah, I would love to hear your feedback if you type a comment on there and see what you might have found useful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if people want to get in touch with you and they want to check out your IGTV, how can they get in touch with you?
You can actually find me usually always hanging out on Instagram. This is Pretty in Ink is the handle, and I'm Fancy Mandy. I pretty much do DMs. You can reach me on email. I don't know why you would want to email me. You just DM me.
Yeah. Where did you get the idea for your IG name or your business?
This is Pretty in Ink. Well, Pretty in Ink in general was just taken, so I had to make it really dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, this is Pretty in Ink.
This, yeah.
Yeah, this is it. I had this company since 2008, and it's before the TV show, and it's before all these things. I'm a baby of the 80s, so Pretty in Pink, it was just like a pun and an easy sidestep of a name. So yeah, once Instagram kind of happened, for a long time I was just using Fancy Mandy, and then I noticed, so when I started to build a team, I'm like, they can't just be tagging me in their stuff, I gotta put Pretty in Ink, and I didn't change that until that was only 2018, I think, when I first got into this location. And so when I started to build a team, I was like, oh, I better get a handle that's more general and more business. So yeah, that's how This is Pretty Ink came along, because Pretty Ink was taken.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. So I appreciate you so much.
How about you though? Hold on. How did you get your name?
So Forever Brows, I started out as just Forever Brows, and Forever Brows was taken. So I did Forever Brows 18 for a while, because I started in 2018.
Okay.
And then I realized it just wasn't flowing well. I started offering other services. So I changed my name to Forever Brows and Beauty. And then same thing, that one was taken already on Instagram. So I just added the studio. So,
Nice. I like
but Forever
Those
Brows, I got the idea actually from my mom. She gave me the name Forever Brows. And it's just like, you know, these brows are gonna last you forever.
Yeah, it's a great name, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way that it flows into Forever Brows and Beauty.
Yeah.
I like that.
So it's kind of all encompassing, you know. So yeah, that's my story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
But
it.
it's been a pleasure chatting with you, Mandy.
You too.
And I hope we can get together sometime.
I would love that. You're in Cincinnati.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. I have a client of mine that I need to go track down, and no, she's a good friend. Like talk and hang out with her. So yeah, maybe one time when I go down to visit, I can hit you up.
Yeah, hit me up. Let me know. And if I'm in Columbus, I'll let you know.
Yes, please do. I would love to see you. And we have a bar right downstairs, so it's like super easy.
Oh.
It's not our bar, but the restaurant. So
Awesome. Well, for anybody that wants to learn more microblading tips, I do have some online courses that have come available. So those are available. Yeah. So we have microblading courses. You can sign up through the link in my bio. And Fancy Mandy's going to be having her prototype coming out soon. So we have lots of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate the support. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Forever Brows and Beauty Studio. And please join us again next time for new guests, new stories, and new inspiration. Thanks so much.